People at home always enjoy your company. Wasn't it great to see him in action? And we'll catch you next time here in Chase Place.
Tonight, bringing them home, the government's plan to save Australians stuck in India, but the travel ban stays for now. A vaccine oversupply, now over 50s free to get the shot. A notorious child killer released into the community and living near 5 schools. Plans for Australia's longest tunnel, a bypass under much of the Blue Mountains. Bombshell report, claims of physical and emotional abuse from young, vulnerable athletes. Sydney smothered, hazardous air pollution levels hide much of the city, even the Harbour Bridge. And the airfare price war, Sydney to Melbourne for $30, cheaper than the taxi trip to the airport.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. Prime Minister Morrison says he's trying to prevent a third wave of COVID swamping Australia by banning travel from India. But 7 News can reveal his government is preparing to lift that ban on May the 15th and not only resume but increase special charter flights to bring Australians home.
Among the 20 million people infected with COVID in India are both Surgut Lahiri's parents, his mother in ICU on a ventilator.
Australians should at least be allowed to come back home and shouldn't be made to go to jail for that.
There is a raging pandemic and we need to just continue to take decisions that are in the best health interests of Australia.
Defending his ban, threatening Australian citizens with 5 years jail and $66,000 fines if they return within 14 days of being in India.
If Dave Warner returns to Australia, is the government really going to lock him up for 5 years?
With even government backbenchers critical.
We should be helping Aussies stranded in India come home, not jail them.
Scott Morrison tempering the rhetoric today, suggesting the jail threat won't be enforced at all. The same law is applied to cruise ships for a year.
And no one's gone to jail. There hasn't been any irresponsible use of those powers.
He says Australians could still return from India if they flew to another country first and quarantined for 14 days.
It could be out of Doha or Dubai or other places like this.
But Doha has banned foreign nationals quarantining if they've travelled from India. Mr Morrison says his ban will now be reviewed this week. 7 News understands the government now intends to lift the ban on May 15 and then resume repatriation flights to bring Australians home from India to quarantine at the Howard Springs facility outside Darwin. And whose idea was the jail threat and fines?
I have clear advice from the Chief Medical Officer.
I didn't advise anything in relation to fines or any of those other matters.
But he did, in writing to Health Minister Greg Hunt on Friday night, advising to activate the Biosecurity Act to prevent Australian citizens returning from India, noting they'd face 5 years jail and fines of $66,600.
The Chief Medical Officer's advice was very clear. It is public.
And so now is his dressing down. Mark Riley, 7 News.
First, it was doctors saying they couldn't give them away. Now the government has confirmed vaccine supplies are outstripping demand, with fears many Australians are not interested. There weren't many queues around Sydney today as the national rollout opened to anyone over 50.
Rolling up for the rollout. Day one of the over 50s being offered a vaccine shot.
Please come with me, I'll just give you a mask.
Here, the Spring Street Clinic Bondi, fully booked today with 140 patients.
I can take this one, thank you.
One of just 9 respiratory clinics offering the shot across Sydney.
Yeah, it didn't hurt, it's easy, get it done.
All administering AstraZeneca.
I'm in the travel industry, so I'm very keen for everyone to get vaccinated so these borders will open.
Penny Spencer brought her mother, Margaret.
Not because I want to, but I know I have to.
We literally could have gone as many as we wanted this week, but we're limited by the space that we've got here.
But most we saw today were over 70, not over 50. And at Blacktown, no queues at all. The numbers trickled in. Same at Belmore. A stark contrast to Melbourne. Long queues there, long before opening. The state government throwing open the doors to the mass vaccination centres. Our government says we've got more vaccines than demand.
The reality is there is no virus and we've become complacent.
Victoria simply more vaccine keen. After last year's big scare, New South Wales now running second in the take-up stakes.
The start of Phase 2A means some 6 million Australians over the age of 50 are now eligible for their AstraZeneca shot, but most will still access it through their GPs, and that doesn't begin for another 2 weeks, May 17.
As the federal government gives the campaign an advertising nudge starting tonight.
People aged 50 and over can receive their COVID-19 vaccine.
By bringing forward those over 50s, we're protecting people and protecting people earlier.
And if we go at the current rate of about 60,000 vaccine doses a day, we're still over 1.5 years away from reaching our target.
The vaccine tally is now nudging 2.3 million, 2-to-1 AstraZeneca to Pfizer. Receiving his Astra shot today, the 53-year-old West Australian Premier.
Has she done it yet?
Vaccine enthusiasm in Perth as well, but long testing queues too after a hotel security guard infected 2 housemates, delivery drivers who brought food to 100 homes across the city.
But all of the people who receive food will be required to be tested and quarantined.
As it was revealed, the public can enjoy high tea in the foyer of the quarantine hotel involved. Chris Reason, 7 News.
A man who killed a 5-year-old girl in a caravan park is now residing within walking distance of several Sydney schools. A 7 News investigation has tracked down the killer, who is living free and unsupervised in the community.
It's just after 9 a.m. and a child killer strolls along all alone for his morning shop. Dressed in black from head to toe and dragging a shopping cart, Timothy Kosovich freely walks about Carlingford Court, close to where 7 News can reveal he's been living for the past few years.
Hey Tim, how have you been? Are you still hearing voices?
Go away, please.
In November 2003, he suffocated Chloe Hosen, one of the neighbourhood kids living in the Lansvale caravan park, lured along by a kitten. The 5-year-old girl followed him inside his cabin, never to be seen again. Using 2 shopping bags, he took her life, interfering with her corpse before dumping her body at a nearby creek. Despite making a full confession,
So I put a plastic bag over her head, and then I put another plastic bag over her head, and it killed her.
a diagnosed schizophrenic, he was found not guilty in 2005 due to mental illness, telling psychiatrists he was driven by voices telling him to kill.
Tim, how can we be sure it's safe having you out in the streets?
Oh, piss off.
In 2018, he was allowed out unsupervised, flying to Melbourne to visit his parents in rural Victoria. Now, we've tracked him down again.
You're living around a lot of school children. Do they bother you at all?
Kosovich lives within walking distance of 5 schools, the closest Carlingford West Public and one school's global Sydney campus. Also nearby, Carlingford West Kindergarten, the King's School, Cumberland High and several childcare centres. Local parents discovering this from 7 News.
Scary. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I think just a concern.
Because I have 3 daughters. We should know who are living here. If there is any criminal here, we need to know it.
And this is where Timothy Kosovich has been living since we last caught up with him, in a townhouse at the back of this block, right in the middle of thousands of families living in Carlingford. And he's free to come and go as he pleases.
The state government today issued a statement to 7 News saying it cannot comment on his history or current circumstances.
Can you just tell us how you are? People will want to know that it's safe having you out on the streets again.
Evan Batten, 7 News.
The jury in the Jack de Bellon rape retrial has retired to consider its verdict. It's the second trial the St George player and his friend Callan Sinclair have faced after the jury failed to reach a conclusion at the first hearing. Both men are accused of sexually assaulting a 19-year-old woman who they met on a night out in Wollongong in 2018. If found guilty, they face up to 20 years in jail. There are plans to bore Australia's longest tunnel through the heart of the Blue Mountains to slash travel times and end the regular traffic jams. But some critics say it doesn't go far enough, while others claim it could end up being a $20 billion tollway.
The Great Western Crawl at Easter. Traffic jammed for hours through the Blue Mountains. A new idea to fix it just as dramatic.
This will be Australia's longest road tunnel.
Already on the drawing board is a 4-kilometre tunnel under Victoria Pass and another under Blackheath. The plan now is to join the two, creating an 11-kilometre super tunnel.
We know it's complex, we know it's ambitious, but we know we can make this a reality.
Estimated to cost around $8 billion. So far, the state government has pledged $2.5 billion.
This will take billions of dollars of more funding. That is a conversation with the federal government.
This could well finish up anywhere near $20 billion, this project. And we don't know because there's no business case.
Testing is underway to see if it's feasible. The green light would come next year. Officials say it would split up local, truck and tourist traffic and save 20 minutes off a weekday drive.
People aren't visiting the Central West on the weekends because they know they're going to hit the traffic on a Sunday afternoon.
But just down the road from the planned tunnel here at Medlow Bath, locals say it doesn't go far enough, arguing that it would more than double the amount of traffic then having to use the highway through this historic village, which will be significantly widened.
If this goes ahead, we're looking at almost 10 years of roadworks.
They want the tunnel extended under Medlow Bath to Katoomba, making it 19 kilometres long.
Turn this into a tourist drive.
Paul Caddick, 7 News.
Shocking video has emerged of a violent attack on a teenager at Penrith on Saturday night. It happened in a car park on Mulgoa Road, with several people punching the 16-year-old. One attacker was wielding what appeared to be a rod or bat. The teenager was stabbed in the side, with the attackers then fleeing. He was taken to Westmead Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police are investigating. Australia's economy is roaring back to life, with experts predicting a bumper budget next week. They say the red-hot recovery will improve the nation's bottom line by $100 billion more than earlier estimates.
More jobs, more household spending and soaring iron ore prices mean Australia's economic recovery is well and truly on.
It's absolutely red hot.
Economists expect that to be reflected in next week's federal budget, predicting a deficit of $167 billion this financial year, $31 billion lower than forecast in December, decreasing to $49 billion over the next 4 years. Total deficits almost $100 billion smaller than expected.
Deficit's still big, but much less scary. If you can get a better economy, you're getting a better budget. That's what we're getting.
Setting the scene for a raft of new spending on May 11. The centrepiece, a reported $10 billion package to reform the aged care sector. Already announced measures include $1.7 billion to increase childcare subsidies for families with more than one child, $750 million for defence, extending the low and middle income tax offset, and more cash for women's services.
There is more to come, I can assure you of that.
The opposition arguing the economy is recovering despite the government, not because of it.
The recovery would be stronger if Scott Morrison wasn't stuffing up the vaccine rollout.
While that may be so, economists have given the government the thumbs up over its decision not to attempt to repair the budget until unemployment falls below 5%. But even then, Chris Richardson warns we may still need to save $40 billion a year to balance the books. Rob Scott, 7 News.
House hunting Australians have given Westpac a major boost. Over the past 6 months, the bank's cash profit rose to $3.5 billion, up 256%. That's thanks to new owner-occupier loans and mortgages for first-time home buyers. Westpac is also planning to slash its costs by $2 billion, simplifying its structure and adopting more digital technology. Sydney's hot property market burned even brighter last month. Researcher CoreLogic says in April, house prices increased another 2.8% to a median of $1,147,000. Unit prices also increased, up 1.3% to a median of $771,000. There's also been an increase in the number of homeowners listing their property for sale. Experts say that should help ease the price boom. A bombshell investigation into Australian gymnastics has exposed a shocking culture of mistreatment and abuse. The governing body has apologised and promised immediate change. The gymnasts who suffered want compensation and police action.
For decades, Australian gymnasts have been crying out for help.
We feel like finally we've been heard. This is the first step.
Today's release of a Human Rights Commission report scathing.
Experiences of misconduct, bullying, abuse, harassment and assault amongst athletes,
including claims of sexual assault of young girls.
Well, certainly in the case of matters that are criminal, absolutely, they refer to the police.
The gymnasts complained they'd been ignored until a Netflix documentary exposed the horrific culture in the USA. And forced action here.
The time for transformational cultural change begins now.
The report found current coaching methods create a risk of abuse and harm to athletes. A winning-at-all-costs mentality led to gymnasts being silenced, with a focus on the ideal body, body shaming, harmful weight management, which often caused the development of eating disorders.
There needs to be redress for athletes who are affected by the abuse.
Compensation.
And frankly, it's not something we've considered to this point.
They'll adopt 12 recommendations and hold more reviews, but can't explain why this took so long.
I don't have a good answer to that question.
I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of love for gymnastics anymore.
Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
It turned out fine and sunny, but Sydney woke to a miserable morning. Fog and smoke from hazard reduction burns combined to make smog, causing travel delays and, in some suburbs, a health hazard.
In Sydney's inner west, dawn arrived without a sunrise.
Today we're just missing it, but it's so lovely, it's so beautiful.
Along the Bay Run, walkers appeared like apparitions.
You really can't see ahead. I was expecting to see a sunrise.
It was blocked by a blanket of fog and smoke, moving like water, draining east down the river valleys, settling over Sydney's lowest suburbs, the city skyline barely poking through. But surely this was the most impressive disappearing act, the Harbour Bridge vanishing in a matter of minutes.
Just with that smoke as well, it meant that it did seem just really thick at those lower levels.
A problematic predicament for peak hour commuters using our roads and runways. Several flights were delayed or cancelled.
Beats walking.
Ferry services too.
I'll have to find another way to work, mate. No dramas. It's okay, that's life.
Some work sites were so hazardous, tradies downed tools.
We were concerned about people that had respiratory illnesses, just having to suck those smoke fumes in.
At dawn, air quality was rated very poor at Randwick and Earlwood, poor at Chullora, Liverpool and Campbelltown, only fair at Prospect and Bringelly.
Lucky I don't have asthma, but yeah, I do notice it.
By mid-morning, the sun appeared like a moon in the mist. And while the fog has lifted, the smoke won't dissipate until it rains. That is forecast to happen tomorrow, and if the showers are heavy enough, those hazard reduction burns, the source of all this smoke will be put on hold for weeks, if not months.
The work is so important in building the protection around our communities.
The biggest burn is 60 k's west near Warragamba, sending plumes skywards before it moves our way overnight. Tom Hartley, 7 News.
And time to check the forecast now. Angie, when will that smoke clear Sydney?
Well, Mark, we do have a change on the way tomorrow. Welcome showers should be all we need to disperse that smoke. So today was our last sunny day for a while and it was just spectacular from the air. These shots over Blackheath show some impressive autumnal hues. The Blue Mountains is in fact one of the best local spots to enjoy the magnificent colours of deciduous trees at this time of year. Southern parts of New South Wales, though, have already started to record some showers with that change pushing up from the south. 27 millimetres in the gauge at Perisher, 14 at Albury so far. Tomorrow, the trough and front responsible will travel a lot further afield and that will bring widespread wet weather. Our model shows decent falls over the course of the next 3 days. The blue pocket on the south coast here, that represents falls of 50 to 100 millimetres. Sydney should see closer to about 20 millimetres, but I will have more details on that change a little bit later, Mark.
OK, Angie, thank you. The world's most famous football club overrun by rioting fans. After the break, flares and fury, violence in Manchester as supporters demand change. M1 mayhem, a van flips sending 3 people to hospital. Petrol tankers exploding in the night, the deadly blast as a terror group denies involvement. Injecting genes to give people back their sight, details of an Australian breakthrough. That's later. And time to fly, one airline sparks a day of record low airfares.
This is Big Brother. Your job is to not react.
Oh my God.
No matter what Big Brother throws at you.
The housemates will do anything
to
survive this night.
Come at you like a freight train.
But my biggest surprise is right above them. what will happen in my attic.
New Big Brother, tonight after Home and Away on 7.
A window breaks down a long dark street, and a siren wails in the night. But I'm alright, 'cause I have you here with me, and I can almost see through the dark there is light. If you knew how happy you are making me, oh, I never thought I'd love anyone so much. Feels like home to me, feels like home to me, feels like I'm all the way back where I belong.
Sultana brand. High in fibre so families can get up and go and take on every full-on day. Sultana brand. Full-on days start with full-on fibre. Now available in gluten-free.
Origin's 90 Days of Change is 90 ways we can all start change for good. Like Change 27, Origin's virtual power plant. A network creating cleverer, cleaner and more efficient energy, working together as one for good. Origin, where all good change starts.
This can't be a Domino's ad. These can't be Domino's ingredients. And surely Domino's couldn't do super premium pizzas like this from just $15 delivered. Or could they? Bring it in.
Wipes, what a waste. Try Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water with new reusable Eco Pads. Micelles work like a magnet to cleanse and remove up to 100% of makeup with zero daily waste. New Micellar reusable Eco Pads by Garnier Naturally.
It might be fleeting, or a moment of pure joy. But with the Mazda Moment End of Financial Year sale, the moment to make it yours is now. Search Mazda offers and visit your dealer.
Get well sooner with Blackmore's Bio-C.
Welcome back. It was a slow run on the M1 north of Sydney early this morning after a 3-vehicle crash closed all northbound lanes at Arimba. The impact caused one van to flip onto its side. 3 people were injured, including a passenger who was airlifted to Royal North Shore Hospital in a serious condition. The cause of the crash is still being investigated. For the first time in English Premier League history, a match has been postponed purely due to the behaviour of fans. The game was called off when Manchester United supporters stormed the pitch at their home ground.
Oh my God! United!
At Old Trafford, where Manchester United was set to take on Liverpool, no players, just protesters. Hundreds invading the pitch, climbing the goal frame, setting off flares. An unrivalled security breach in front of bewildered broadcasters.
This is really unprecedented scenes we have here. They are now in some numbers all over the pitch, and they continue to pour into the ground.
Scenes that began outside, where stadium staff were outnumbered, both teams blocked from leaving their hotels. Manchester United fans say they want change at the very top. The American Glazer family, who also own the NFL's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, bought the English club in 2005, landing it in debt. Fans have disliked the billionaire owners from the start, but the recent European Super League debacle has taken their anger to new heights.
We had to make a stand. We don't want anything violent, we don't want anybody hurt or whatever, but we've been ignored for too long.
We don't need to be governed and controlled by Americans. They've got their own sports, get on with it.
The match was postponed due to safety concerns. An officer's face was slashed during clashes, with questions about the time it took police to react. In London, Sarah Greenodge, 7 News.
Dozens of fuel tankers have burst into flames in a series of explosions that rocked Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. At least 7 people were killed when the petrol tankers erupted, the terrifying scene lighting up the night sky. The cause of the blaze is yet to be confirmed, but authorities have ruled out a terrorist attack. Security sources have told reporters a Taliban rocket was fired in the area. However, the Taliban insists it was not involved. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has taken a tough stance against China, saying she has grave concerns about the country's human rights record.
As China's role in the world grows and changes, the differences between our systems and the interests and values that shape those systems are becoming harder to reconcile.
The statement made to a China business summit in Auckland is a departure for the New Zealand PM, who has previously avoided direct criticism of China. A Baulkham Hills man has had his hands full trying to be the first to conquer the burger challenge at the Khartoum Hotel near Cessnock. James took just 25 minutes and 37 seconds to finish the 4.8 kilo burger, as well as 200 grams of chips and onion rings. It wasn't enough. He also ordered 2 slices of cheesecake. Anyone who'll take on James should be warned 55 other contenders have tried and all failed. A mass brawl in Western Sydney recorded and shared on social media. Up next, the brutal scenes that went viral as one of the accused comes clean. Drowning metres from shore, America's migrant crisis takes another deadly turn. Hammer time, a colourful thief's brutal attack, making off with watches and pearls.
Ahead in sport, Boyd Cordner pencils in a return date as the Roosters rally around a shattered Brett Morris.
His transformations are world-renowned.
You're beautiful. So proud.
Now, Gok Wan is setting out to prove
all of this is quite perfect.
that anybody can look good naked.
Every dimple, every scar, every wobbly bit.
If you do this, babe,
I can do anything.
you can do anything.
The all-new Feel Good series, proving everybody is beautiful.
We all look like this, so we should celebrate it.
New How to Look Good Naked, Wednesday at 9 on 7.
Gross. Hey Siri, can you get us to the dog wash? Good champ.
The Yaris Cross. Small now has it all. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Okay, kids, what Weet-Bix Better Brekkie are we making today?
Let's do fruit snacks.
Crumble a Weet-Bix in the glass, then add yogurt and some fruit.
It's yours.
Get more Better Brekkie ideas at weet-bix.com.au.
Here you go, Mum.
This Mother's Day, be Mum's instant favourite with Instant Scratchits.
Getting a great discount on your electricity is a big deal. Get 24% off the electricity reference price when you switch to Total Plan. That's a guaranteed total electricity bill discount off both your usage and supply charges. Join today.
I think it's time for you to learn the family business.
Huh?
We help Australians look to save on everything from insurance to energy. And here is the real brains of the business. The machine that goes bing!
What do you do, Papa?
It goes, bing.
Every time someone compares with Compare the Market.
Oh, look, another one. What?
No!
We've helped more than 6 million Australians look for a better deal. Simple.
From the moment I laid eyes on you, this is what I said, I see it, and I like it, and I want it, yes I do.
When you shopped at IGA over the last year, it mattered far more than you realise.
It meant we were able to support local restaurants by selling their meals.
It helped us employ more locals. Great job.
And we could keep supporting our local charities.
Because when you shop at any IGA around Australia, you're not just supporting them, but the local community as well. And for that, each and every IGA says thank you.
Tonight, the show that keeps you on the edge of your seat. 911, tonight on 7.
Welcome back. Children who've lost loved ones to homicide will soon have a place to go for specialised support. Work has officially begun on Grace's Place, a world-first trauma centre in Western Sydney, named in honour of Grace Lynch, the mother of murdered Blacktown nurse Anita Cobby.
Few know trauma quite like Catherine Ziska's family.
Mum's looking down on us and overseeing everything, so I hope she can continue to do that.
Mum is Grace Lynch, mother of Anita Cobby, whose 1986 abduction, torture and murder shocked Australia. Grace's Place is named in her honour, a retreat for children coping with homicide.
They'll have counselling and ongoing care to get them through the tough times.
Building is underway at Doonside, not far from where Anita's body was found. Angelo Cusimano helped campaign for this. He was 13 when his father was shot dead during a robbery of his Penshurst store.
We'll help them go out and trust the world again, because you'll lose a lot of trust in the world.
It's not just for kids. Other family members struggling to cope will also be welcomed here.
I can't think of a more honourable cause for a civilised society to get behind.
The shared bond of trauma, especially for children, is unique, trying to navigate a profound sense of loss with a brutal new understanding of just how wicked the world can be. Above all, as a kid, you now feel different, but not here.
Grace's Place will be open next year, 36 years after a cop who locked up the Cobby killers made a promise to a grieving father.
He stared at me and he said, "Gaz, something good has to come out of something so bad." And I said, "It will, mate."
Robert Ovadia, 7 News.
More than 30 firefighters have battled to bring a blaze under control at a shop on Macquarie Street in Liverpool. Crews were called just after 5:30 this morning, forcing entry into a cake shop. It took more than 2 hours to contain the fire. 3 shops were damaged, but no one was injured. The cause is not yet known. A man has pleaded guilty over his involvement in a street brawl between members of Sydney's Indian community. For some bizarre reason, the fight was shared on the popular dance app TikTok.
A wild and dangerous dance organised and uploaded on TikTok. In August last year, 40 men went head-to-head in Harris Park. Ongoing rivalry between 2 local community groups saw fists and feet go flying. Some brawlers armed with cricket bats and steel rods.
Did you know the other men involved?
Actually, I have no idea. Like, what happened there, I have no idea.
One man knocked out cold, bleeding from the head. Manhar Singh is one of 3 people charged.
Did you see the call out on TikTok?
I never used TikTok.
You've never used TikTok?
No.
Today in court, the 31-year-old from Jordan Springs pleaded guilty.
Have you been in brawls before?
No, really.
Are you sorry for what you did?
Manhar Singh has pleaded guilty to driving recklessly and common assault. He remains on bail and will be sentenced next month.
What do you think will happen at sentencing?
I don't know. What are you talking about? I have no idea.
I've got nothing to say.
2 other men charged have yet to enter pleas and will face a magistrate next week. Natasha Squarey, 7 News.
America's migrant crisis has taken a deadly new turn. A boat packed with dozens of people, allegedly being smuggled ashore in California, capsized in rough seas agonisingly close to land. With at least 3 people killed and dozens more injured, the vessel's captain is now facing charges.
Sucked into the treacherous waves off San Diego, migrants signal frantically for help, just metres from shore but stuck on a reef.
The lifeguard boat just left to go get more victims.
Within minutes, the vessel was torn apart.
There were people in the water drowning, getting sucked out the rip current there. There was people on shore. We picked up about 7 people in the water. 2 of them are face down.
Help first came from shore. An off-duty Navy diver swam out to help. And from the air.
This was a mass rescue operation that turned into a mass casualty incident.
The rescue call came from another boat, which spotted the 12-metre vessel in trouble.
Every indication from our perspective is that this was a smuggling vessel used to smuggle migrants into the United States illegally.
The captain taken in for questioning.
Smugglers, they don't care about the people they're exploiting. All they care about is profit. To them, these people are just commodities. So you can see that in the way they treat them. inadequate safety equipment. Sometimes they'll give them flotation devices and life jackets, but they're old, they're tattered.
A surge in migrants at sea and over the US-Mexico land border, fueling a disturbing trend of so-called stash houses, with migrants packed into residential homes. The latest, a people smuggling ring in Houston, Texas, where 90 people were found at one property. An illegal and thriving trade costing human lives. In the United States, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
Thieves have smashed their way into a jewellery store, stealing thousands of dollars worth of watches and pearls. The pair fled the shop in Victoria's Gippsland in a stolen Lexus SUV. The robbery happened in February. Police hope releasing the security video will help identify the culprits. We got a taste today of the upcoming Sydney whale season with some gentle giants frolicking off our coast. It's also a signal for another comeback. Whale watching tourism and the industry can't wait.
Somersaulting into the season, this juvenile humpback flipped and frolicked through the harbour.
We think that's around about 9 metres long.
Stopping traffic, prompting Water Police and New South Wales Maritime to set some boundaries.
There is a whale in the area. Please pass astern.
A lot of boats like to come and have a look.
And off Dover Heights, another friendly giant on the move. A dream for whale watchers and tour operators like Manly's Harbour Cat Cruises, coming out of COVID hibernation a few weeks early.
So it's almost like, hey, here we are. The rest of our mates are coming up.
These are the very first of more than 30,000 humpback and southern right whales on migration between May and November, journeying 10,000 kilometres from Antarctica to warmer waters.
The whale highway is going to be flat out as they're making their journey north.
Whales are incredibly social creatures, often cruising close to the coast. Judging by its length, this humpback is very young, probably on its first solo adventure.
To keep at least 100 metres away from a whale, or extend that out to 300 metres if the whale is with a calf.
And there will be plenty of young ones about. Serena Andaloro, 7 News.
The interstate airfare cheaper than taking the train. Just ahead, the ticket out of Sydney that sparked a new airline price war. On your bike, new plans for the Harbour Bridge ruffle feathers. Aussie visionaries, the scientists hoping an injection can restore lost eyesight.
Soon in sport, fresh details on the future of Manly captain Daly Terry Evans.
And showers tomorrow should finally clear Sydney's smoky skies. Details on how much rain we're expecting soon.
You and Jai are everything to me.
You want the family, but you don't want me.
I could lose my son again.
I'm not her, Dean, and I never will be. Look me in the eye and tell me that you're not still in love with Ziggy.
Home and Away, this week on 7.
It's time for change. New Omo Diluted Home Refill. It contains 50% less plastic. Mix it with water in a 2-litre bottle and shake gently. Tough on stains, kinder to our planet. New Omo Diluted Home Refill.
My perfect bowl, rice bubbles, ice cold almond milk.
So I put in my chocolate milk first.
Rice milk on the rice bubbles.
Rice bubbles and orange juice.
Is that a thing? Yeah, each to their own, and happy eating.
40th birthday. Excellent choice. This guy. Last Father's Day, made your tree house. And here, bang, bang, bang. Best Christmas ever. Now, let's talk Father's Day.
Mother's Day next.
We're going to need a bigger pegboard.
Mother's Day, made by OnePlus U. Grow your mum's Ryobi One Plus collection today.
Ryobi.
Light and Easy's Jumpstart Plus combines their award-winning healthy meal delivery service with their new app to help you achieve your weight loss goals sooner.
The first 2 weeks on the Light and Easy Jumpstart program were really easy. There was plenty of food, plenty of variety, and the weight came off quickly.
Jump online today.
You can do it. It's just a bird.
This week's Oz Lotto jackpot is serving up more big Aussie fun than a barbie with your mates.
Suck in, guys.
Get into Oz Lotto's $15 million jackpot this Tuesday.
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
You do the fun and games. We'll do the up to 8-hour fever relief. Get Nurofen for children for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . .
Kia. Movement that inspires.
Looking for a unique gift this Mother's Day? Then get this autonomous robotic bartender that makes drinks on command. Actually, there's a fresher way. Get a SodaStream. It's the perfect gift that makes sparkling drinks on demand. SodaStream.
Welcome back. Checking the markets now. The ASX 200 closed up just 3 points. Prices were buoyant for the major telcos. Westpac shares were up after the bank's $3.5 billion half-year profit, and our dollar is buying 77.26 US cents. Designs have been released for a ramp on the northern end of the Harbour Bridge so cyclists don't have to carry their bikes up and down the steps. One proposal from the Transport Department is for a 2-storey ramp spiralling down on the old bowling green. The other is for a ramp that snakes through Bradfield Park. The North Sydney Mayor opposes both because of the impact on the park. A decision will be made later this year. An Adelaide supermarket chain is using social media to try to stop some very anti-social shoplifters. It's releasing security video featuring some of the worst offenders, hoping someone will recognise them and dob them in.
Now you see it, now you don't. The big question is, where does it go?
After 2 days, a man who stuffed socks into his jacket has been located, but others are still wanted.
Just make sure you inbox me and let me know. Thank you.
Airfare wars have broken out again with seats between Sydney and Melbourne slashed to just $30. Experts are saying it's a win for tourism, passengers and crew laid off because of COVID.
The battle for bargain travel is reaching new heights. Airlines unveiling record low prices for what is traditionally the second busiest route in the world.
And this will be a great boost to tourism in both Melbourne and in Sydney.
This morning, Rex announced $39 flights between Sydney and Melbourne. Virgin matched the price within hours. Jetstar then went $9 better with $30 tickets. That's less than half the cost of a 12-hour coach or train trip.
$30, that's amazing. Why?
I guess they'll need whatever revenue they can get.
The price is getting so low, the next thing you'll hear, I'll toss a set of saucepans in.
Rex says the sale should provide a much-needed tourism boost to both cities, but admits it's also a marketing move designed to entice travellers to try the full-service airline.
We're not going to be making much in the way of a profit out of this, but what we want to do is attract people to fly with us.
As long as Rex keep on doing crazy things like this, a few people will benefit.
Aviation workers are also returning to the skies, with Jetstar bringing its international crew back on board to meet domestic demand. It's also looking to fill hundreds of other roles left vacant during the pandemic.
We are flying more sectors today than what we were doing pre-COVID.
It seems everyone's a winner in this airfare war. Amber Laidler, 7 News.
For thousands of Australians losing their sight, there is now new hope. Still to come, the groundbreaking process injecting genes into the eye, reversing the effect of a previously untreatable condition. Don't miss that story soon on 7 News. But now Mel is back with Sport, and Mel, the Roosters are still shell-shocked.
Yeah, they are, Fergo. The players are still coming to terms with the injury that's forced Brett Morris into early retirement. We'll hear from some of them next. While at the Panthers, they're pinching themselves over their perfect start to the season. And the Aussie star caught up in the Indian Premier League's worst nightmare, a positive COVID test.
Get your sea legs on, landlubbers. Welcome aboard, mate. And batten down the hatches. Hang on! Get it back, because the new season's here. Just watch your fingies.
Oh boy, I like these ones.
With all new salty sea dogs.
He can't talk, he's watching where he's going.
They'll conquer new oceans. Oh, yeah! And risk it all for the nation's biggest haul. New Aussie Lobster Men. Tonight on Mate!
Vaseline's expertise in rescuing dry skin starts with moisturising glycerin and replenishing pro-lipids, the ultimate rescue ingredients in our new Vaseline Expert Care range. Rescues dry skin from first use. New Vaseline Expert Care.
With a little help, we can make a big change. Now made from 100% recycled plastic.
From the moment I
As you rug up at home over the colder months, switch to AGL and get up to $400 in credits on your energy over 2 years. That's up to $200 for gas and $200 for electricity. Plus, there's no lock-in contract and no exit fee. There's never been a better time to switch and save with AGL. Call 131 245 or search AGL today.
Receive your free limited edition bangle when you spend $150 on Pandora jewellery. Available for a limited time only while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Keep things light and airy with delicious Smith's Poppables. Thanks for sharing, finally. One pop and you're in love. Light and Easy's Jumpstart Plus combines their award-winning healthy meal delivery service with their new app to help you achieve your weight loss goals sooner.
Start the Jumpstart program. You won't regret it. It'll give you exactly what you need to reach your goals.
Jump online today.
What if you said C?
You don't know me.
The new Eau de Parfum Intense. C. Giorgio Armani.
Discover your signature scent.
I am my store.
Welcome back. As the Roosters grapple with a crippling injury toll, there's a light at the end of the tunnel tonight. Captain Boyd Cordner has pencilled in round 14 to return from his concussion break. It is a big boost for a side dealing with a devastating knee injury to Brett Morris.
The Roosters turned up at training this morning, still coming to terms with the gut-wrenching scenes from the shed on Saturday night, trying to console a shattered Brett Morris.
Very emotional, but at the same time, I'll always remember it. Just shows what type of man he is, wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's a Rooster.
It's a tough time for anyone doing their ACL, and especially when you're in good form.
The champion winger achieved it all. 18 tests, 15 origins and 2 premierships.
I feel for him as well now, not playing with his brothers, a big reason why he came to the club.
Lindsay Collins also suffered a serious knee injury in the same game. He's the 4th senior player to be ruled out for the season. Boyd Cordner won't return from his concussion break until round 14.
It's exciting. It's exciting for guys like Kikavalu to play more footy, Joey Solali to possibly get a debut.
He's been training well. It's tough to tackle with training, but he's looking good.
The mood is more upbeat at Penrith after their 8th straight victory.
A lot of us know as well that, the end goal is a long way away, and, we're going to have to be a lot better to get there.
The high-flying Panthers are now the scalp every opponent wants.
We've got to get used to that and be on our game every week if we want to win.
Mel, we also heard from Dally Cherry Evans this afternoon, a very relieved Dally Cherry Evans.
I actually just had a little chat to Des then, just to sort of put a lot of it to bed. So internally I'm feeling a lot better about where things are at. Any uncertainty is sort of quickly going away, that's for sure, so it's nice. We a couple of weeks though, didn't see that coming.
Any reports that Dally Cherry Evans is unwanted at Manly? Well, they couldn't be further off the mark. Mel.
Thanks, Shell. Good news for Manly fans tonight. Pat Cummins is among a host of Indian Premier League stars isolating after COVID infiltrated their biosecure bubble. Varun Chakravarti and Sandeep Warrior, teammates of Cummins at Kolkata, have tested positive. Tonight's game against Bangalore has been postponed. David Warner is little more than a spectator at the moment after being sacked as captain of Hyderabad and axed from the 11.
He's been pretty good. He was obviously shocked and disappointed, which, you'd be disappointed if he wasn't feeling that way.
Hyderabad remain last after a 55-run hiding from Rajasthan. Daniel Ricciardo admits his poor start to life at McLaren has left him feeling broken. Kimi Raikkonen lasted just 1 lap at the Portuguese Grand Prix. After a nightmare in qualifying, Ricciardo worked his way up from 16th to finish 9th behind winner Lewis Hamilton.
It's hard to shake it off, and when you don't execute what you believe you're capable of, it eats at you.
In the USA, Scotty McLaughlin managed to avoid this huge crash early in race 2 of IndyCar's Texas 300. The Kiwi rookie came home in 8th, his second top 10 finish in as many days. Well, Australia's Jack Miller ended a 5-year MotoGP drought with victory at the Spanish Grand Prix. The 26-year-old from Townsville had been under fire for his indifferent start to the season with the powerful Ducati team.
I've been on this bloody roller coaster and it just keeps going. It's like, one minute I'm crying and sobbing like a baby, next minute I'm just so angry and like yeah.
The win lifts Miller to 6th in the World Championship standings, 27 points behind Ducati teammate Francesco Bagnaia. More massive surf tested the mettle of competitors on day 2 at the Margaret River Pro in Western Australia.
She slid all the way down the face and then the lip just exploded on top of her. That is a gnarly, gnarly wipeout.
Aussie Olympic squad member Owen Wright lost in the round of 32. Jeremy Flores went close to emulating John Florence's perfect 10 from yesterday, but had to settle for 9.4. Not bad though. And what about this for a workplace? Cancun, where Aussies Tuliko Clancy and Maria Faye Atacho del Solar proved they are right in the mix for Olympic gold with victory in the final event of the Beach Volleyball World Tour.
So proud of Maria Faye for the great fight she put up with me at the end. So, love you.
They joined forces to emulate Sydney 2000 legends Nat Cook and Kerry Pothouse. Fergo, bring on Tokyo, and yeah, not a bad office.
Big win, good timing.
Yep, great timing.
Thank you, Mel.
Thanks.
Gene therapy is giving thousands of Australians suffering from macular degeneration the hope of sight. A new trial is not only looking at how to treat the condition, but how to stop it altogether.
Age-related macular degeneration has robbed Robert Kerr of many things, including the joy of seeing his grandchildren smile.
I can't see their faces. I've given up driving, which is pretty inconvenient, although my wife does say that my eyesight seems to improve when I'm sitting in the passenger seat.
The 73-year-old has dry AMD, which causes a gradual and permanent loss of central vision, and unlike other forms of the disease, has no treatment or cure. But an expert team at the Centre for Eye Research Australia is trialling gene therapy on a small group of 20 patients. It involves injecting a safely modified virus into the defective cells in the retina at the back of the eye.
Essentially, you hijack the ability of a virus to deliver genetic material into cells.
And if this small trial is successful, it could be available to patients in as little as 4 to 5 years. It can't reverse damage already done, so early detection is still vital. But for the 35,000 sufferers nationwide like Robert, it could salvage what little vision he has left.
Which is better than getting worse.
Sonia Marinelli, 7 News.
7 News camera operators have been acknowledged with some of the TV industry's highest accolades at the Australian Cinematographer Society. US-based cameraman Tim Myers was awarded a coveted golden tripod for those incredible pictures in Amelia Brace's reports from the Washington riots. Sydney senior cameraman Paul Walker was also honoured with the gold for his work during the city stabbing rampage. Kevin Hudson was awarded a distinction in cinematography for a story he worked on about Callan Park.
Sydney's tortured.
And John Varga from our Spotlight documentary unit was honoured for his feature work on Chernobyl. Well done. Now Angie's back with a forecast. Angie, when's the wet weather set to arrive?
From about late morning, Mark, and it will signal a grade change that'll persist for quite a few days. Details next.
Tonight on the latest from 7 News, we'll tell you just how successful the first day of mass vaccinations has really been. The Wild Music Festival being used to test the effectiveness of COVID vaccines in crowds, and how these surfers broke a world record to protest a new development. Join me for the latest from 7 News tonight.
You see, this is not just about a headline for the day. That this is ruining lives. Not just me. You want to crucify me? Fine. Look what it's done to my beautiful partner. Look what it continues to do to my family every day.
And then we're going to a day spa.
Very nice. And you haven't even asked for any money lately, kiddo.
All good money bags. The CommBank app does all my budgety stuff now. Keeps me on track.
Sounds like an app-vantage.
Yeah, very advantageous.
App-vantage us.
Oh, I can't deal.
The app that tracks, budgets and predicts. That's an app-vantage.
Space is what you make of it. The new Ford Puma is proof that being compact doesn't have to be a compromise. It can lead to bigger things, punchier things, smarter things, safer things. And another thing which is kind of a big deal, introducing the 2021 Drive Car of the Year Best Light SUV, Ford Puma. Expect big things.
At Sunsuper, your retirement dreams aren't a promise, they're our purpose. With a history of strong long-term returns to help make your dreams possible tomorrow. Sunsuper, what dreams are made of. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Welcome to your life. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world.
You do the fun and games. We'll do the up to 8-hour fever relief. Get Nurofen for children for a great price every day at Chemist Warehouse.
What a day. Time to sweat it out. Gotta sweat it out. Let the pressure out. Push on. Come on. Gotta sweat it out. It's how to get it out. Tomorrow, bring it on. Ion 4 Hydration. Sweat it out with Powerade.
Tonight, when danger calls, they're the heroes who answer.
911, what's your emergency?
911, tonight on 7.
Tonight, 7 News headlines. The government is planning to increase charter flights from India to bring stranded Australians home when the travel ban lifts on May the 15th. Confessed child killer Timothy Kosovich has been found living unsupervised near schools in Carlingford. And there's been a mixed reception for a plan set to be Australia's longest tunnel through the heart of the Blue Mountains. Now, with the latest on our weather, here's Angie.
Thanks very much, Mark. We will notice the wet weather start to pick up from late morning tomorrow, so hopefully you enjoyed today's sunshine. There was plenty of it once all that fog and smoke haze cleared. We reached a top of 24.7 degrees at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The low was 13.8, so a little bit cooler than we've been used to lately. It was nice and warm across the suburbs during the day. Parramatta reached a top of 26 degrees. 26 was also the top at Bankstown and 25 generally on the beach, while Katoomba reached 19. Now, this trough and cold front sitting over New South Wales will bring an end to a 3-week dry spell over Sydney. Those systems are already triggering some showers and storms across the state's south tonight. Tomorrow, we'll see that rain band track over remaining areas of New South Wales. Widespread wet weather will follow, and that's going to last for several days, pretty much until the end of the working week. To the capitals for tomorrow, that same system will impact Melbourne, so we'll see some rain and a chilly top of 15 degrees. Showers starting to enter Canberra as well. Brisbane also expecting a shower or two and a possible storm. Fairly warm, 26 degrees. Adelaide, Hobart and Darwin are the settled locations, with Perth also likely to record showers and a storm from a separate system. So New South Wales brings a very different scene tomorrow. The south coast will see heavy falls at times, between 25 and 50 millimetres at Eden. Showers maybe even falling as snow for Thredbo. Elsewhere, falls are generally going to range from just 5 to 15 millimetres, and temperatures will be a fair bit down on average as a result of all that cloud cover. The metro region should see totals towards the lower end of the scale, so 5 to 10 millimetres. They'll pick up from late morning. As a result, tops are going to be much cooler. 20 degrees forecast for Manly and Bondi, just 19 at Hornsby, and Katoomba aiming for a wintry 12 degrees. On the water, winds are going to 10 west southwesterly from early morning. That'll happen on a 1.5 metre 8 as well. More detail for Sydney now. Tonight is clear, but poor air quality alerts remain. So tomorrow morning, that smoke haze will linger, but those showers should help to disperse that, and it's going to be cooler with a top of 21 degrees. So the week ahead, the heaviest falls will be on Wednesday, about 15 millimetres in the city. More showers developing on Thursday. Then Saturday onwards is looking a lot more settled. We're even looking at some warmer temperatures, around 25 degrees once again on Monday under some nice sunshine. So some welcome rain on the way starting tomorrow, Mark.
Yeah, more rain, less smog. Angie, thank you. That is 7 News for this Monday. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. I hope you have a great night.